Hello, this is Rebirth of Legend here with another analysis. We'll be looking at another anti-mage game. It's a normal skill bracket game, so somewhere below. I believe he says 1.6k MMR. um, but he had a pretty good game, so I think he's this. No, he's not. Okay. I don't know why. I just looked at the job a minute ago. I was like, I thought he was with the Spectre, and I'm like, why would you pick that last? Crazy talk. But this lineup's kind of fine. Although you took what I would presume is the safe lane from the Sven, which is kind of weird. So you either have to run dual lanes, which isn't that bad, or run like an offlane Sven. Since this is low MR, it probably will be dual lanes, but your dual lanes are awkward. One of them's going to be double melee, unless there's like nowhere real way around that unless you run like the Sven or the anti-mage mid, which sounds kind of weird. I think the volume was fine. Whatever. First thing, skill build's fine. Or sorry, this itemization is fine. I usually start with 8 tangos. You can also buy the Ring of Protection here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you were against an offlane sniper. Their whole shenanigans are kind of weird right now. Yeah, we don't know yet. It could be an offlane sniper or an offlane DK. I think, okay, I did look at it. It does end up being an offlane DK. I looked at it briefly earlier, but I couldn't watch it. So you skilled the blink off the bat. You probably want to hold your skill point and just decide what you're going to do later. Because not having this is like, or not skilling it costs you like really nothing. But like skilling it means that you're not going to have, let's say it's an offlane Dragonite. You want to trade right clicks with them with Mana Break. If you can, like if it's just him by himself or someone's out of position, like Mana Break does a ton of damage. It's super strong. So you rush the Calling Blade, that's fine. If you're not that comfortable with last 10, then that's cool. If you're against a sniper, I'd say go for the Poor Man Shield first, or the sniper Lena or something. It's still worth getting the Poor Man Shield eventually, but if you think you're gonna be taking a lot of pokes from people like that, then getting the early Poor Man Shield is going to save you a lot of regen, because it's 100% block and an increase in the damage blocked. So it's a 100% chance to block 20. I seem to recall you creeping pretty well. One thing I think you should work on is not every lane's going to allow you to just rush a Quelling Blade comfortably like this. You should get comfortable last hitting without it. Anti-mage I think is probably one of the easiest heroes to last hit with a Quelling Blade from like level 1. It's very, very systematic. Particularly when you're creeping under tower. Why the fuck does he have his stun skilled? I looked at that quickly and before I thought he had his passive. This is nonsensical. But I guess it's kind of funny. I know like some of the mistakes you're going to make. You have to make sure that you keep an angle on your camera. See, like you're kind of far up right now. I'd like you to have the camera a little lower so you can see the coddle. You want to know when he's firing a blast, because even an anti-mage, once you get the level 1 spell shield, it's still going to hurt you to do that. And you have his heal, which is nice, but like, you don't want him wasting his mana on that. What the hell? Okay, now that skill's fine. I thought he was level 1 with like that first. It's just dumb. He should have used his Q already too. Like we don't really care about him. Oh, I know he's gonna piss me off a lot in this lane. If he's a friend of yours, you need to yell at him. He did a lot of silly things. I'll try and point him out in case he's someone you know, but I think this is probably just a solo game. Either way, it's something worth like looking at. I think you're about to eat a coddle wave. No. But I do want to. Why am I watching this at normal speed? Oh, sorry. I would say I just woke up, but I didn't. I haven't slept though, so it's like a similar effect, right? See, like that wave, you should have been able to dodge, I think. And like, you just don't have your screen low enough. Like, you should be able to see everything. So why not have it a little lower? You can even hear him charging it too. I think that would. I don't hear it on the screen. I don't know if it's like a replay bug, but I would think you should be able to hear him charging it. Or you need to have your screen lower. Like either on will kind of tell you, because he's not like shooting it from the sides or like places where it'll like throw you off and he's in the fog or something. He's just sitting in the lane and doing it. There's nothing fancy going on there. He walked out to the creep wave. You can start trading with him right there. If he tries to right click you, You did it correctly. Like, if he tries to right-click you there instead of walking away, he's going to tank your creeps. Anytime you have a creep advantage, you pretty much want to trade with whoever the offlaners are. Because if they try and fight back, then they'll take more creep damage. Obviously, if it's like you have 4 creeps and they have 3, you don't want to do that, because you'll aggro their creeps too, and then take a bunch of damage. So I want to pause for a second and just talk about creep aggro, because I talk about it in a lot of the videos. I don't know how many of them you watched. Speaking directly to the anti-mage player, but I talk about aggro a lot. So creep aggro is basically what, or aggro in general is basically what gets enemy things to start prioritizing you. So anytime you attack a hero within range of a creep or a tower, and that range is 500, 500 is about the distance from anti-mage to about the sign. It's about 500 range, I'd say. Anytime you attack a hero within those ranges on either a tower or a creep wave, they will automatically, whatever they're doing, they'll stop and they'll start going after you. So you can abuse that to get more creeps in difficult lanes like this. I wasn't looking at it earlier into the lane, but there's probably some opportunities where you could have used creep aggro tricks. I know the coddle showed up after the first minute, so you probably don't want to really use them in like a 1v2 lane or something. But in a 2v2 or like a 1v2 lane where you're the 1 and they're 2, then you probably want to be using the tricks in order to get more. So what that means is, like, since you know that if you attack a hero within that range, they'll go after you, you use that to pull the creeps towards you. I don't think I showed in that anti-mage video. I go over it in depth in like some other videos. Usually in the first like 5 minutes. So if you want to watch one of the other ones, it's probably worth it. This is good. You're like trying to start this rotation. It's not particularly fast without the ring of health. You're kind of getting harassed here a lot too. If this guy wasn't here, I'd be kind of cool with you getting a ring of regen too. Just another +2 regen. You pretty much always want to get a Blats on anti-mage unless there's a really good reason not to. Okay, this was a mistake I remember seeing. I actually didn't see it there, but I know it was. So you attack him, you draw like aggro, you eat that coddle wave. Once again, you've eaten like 3-4 coddle waves in a row. You're going for this last hit, and you give up and blink away beforehand. So you guys fucked up there. Like, you took so much damage with just like 2 more auto attacks, just lost like another 100 HP, and didn't even get the creep. Might as well just stuck around at that point, because you know like their shit's down, right? Yeah, he didn't. If you were looking, you would have seen he didn't have mana, right? What's luck? So he just hit you with the blast. You see that guy has no mana. You've already taken all this damage. Just get the last hit and then go for it. You can not go for it there if you want, and not trade those right clicks, which is also an option. He's getting a soul ring. Maybe the soul ring is good now with the new dragon blood. Maybe offlane him's not the worst thing in the world. An investigation for another day, I suppose. Yeah, but you could have just taken that last hit, whatever. Oh, and the way he frosts you, or heals you, you're about to eat another one of these, aren't you? It's because of your angle, once again. Like, I was on the DK screen. Like, keep on, you have all this area over here you don't care about. You can move this, and you can, okay, you even see that. You can't keep taking these, you have to be aware of that. Like, that's like, think about it like laning against a Darkseer. On Darkseer, who you're not, okay, you screwed up there. When you're creeping under tower with a Quelling Blade on anti-mage, it's so easy. 5 hits from the tower, and then 1 hit from you on melees, and then 2 hits on the range from the tower, and then 1 hit from you will do it. When you have mana break leveled. At this point, I think it's either way. But, there's no reason you shouldn't have mana break leveled, so it's almost not worth talking about. Here, you can just take this under, that's 2 hits, I think, and then you get it. Yeah, it was close. You could have, after the first hit went through, you could have seen that it could take another tower hit. You can check the health too. This thing does like an average. This is like more advanced stuff, so I probably won't get too much into it. So it does an average of 110. I think it's plus minus of 20. So if you click the creep and it has like 220 HP, then like odds are that you could risk the next tower shot. Like sometimes you'll get unlucky, but you can look at like average health on a creep, and like you can look at health on a creep and then determine how many tower hits is needed. But that's like more high level stuff. I'm more worried about like paying attention to shit like that. You couldn't see that one, so I'm not gonna hold that one against you. I don't think this guy's harassed with his Q at all. This thing is so strong during the laning phase. I don't think he's used it at all, which is horrible. Like if he used that in the DK, like in the first minute and then the next minute, because it's like a 60-second cooldown or something, 50. Uh-oh. Just don't anti-mages. You could blink on that if you wanted to. I think it's fine. Just take a shot at the coddle and walk away. You should check mana before you do that. There's no reason to think that coddle was that low.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, well he was low, but he wasn't at like 0 mana. This thing doesn't really do a lot of damage until you're like level 2 or 3. Like this is the 0.6 per mana missing was very underwhelming. I mean he was missing a lot of mana, so yeah, I mean it did some damage, but you do want to check stuff like that because using that early on, if you want to use your blinks a little more, okay, you should get the boots first too. Like first off, getting the belt of strength is increasing your HP pool. So your ring of health is healing into a larger HP pool, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's something to think about. Like when you're hitting creeps or something. That guy's fucking annoying. See, now he's starting to stand in like smart places, but you've eaten so much harass already. Like if you didn't have this wyvern here who could have healed you, you'd be in like really deep trouble. So you should be on agi treads right now. And here's a fun fact, I only found this out probably like a year ago. You can build treads from a belt of strength, a band of elven skin, or the robe of the magi. You don't actually need to get that belt of strength. You can build it with any of the 3 components that are 450, all of which can be purchased over here. Dodge one, good. About damn time. So yeah, you can build with any of those. So you want to be on the agi tread, so it's going to increase your armor by 1 and have you healing into a smaller HP pool, which is important when you're jungling. I want to accelerate this a bit. I think we're wasting a lot of time on the laning phase, and I don't think it's that important. So you creeped okay. Like 45 creeps at 10 it's okay. I usually have that in rough lanes. See, you shouldn't be going back to base right now. He heals you. Do you still go back to base? Okay, no. You tell him to heal you, and then you stay there. You wasted some time there. You're on intreads while jungling. So you want to, when you use your blinks, you want to swap to power treads, or sorry, swap to intreads, blink, and then swap back to agi treads. It's called tread swapping and helps you a lot with your mana management on anti-mage. It's very important. It's good, you didn't get hit by that, but you actually ran into a creep wave and then got stunned. See, this is stupid. Where are we even walking here? That thing goes past. Oh, he kills the whole creep wave. Yeah, so you walked past it and like, look how much damage you just took. You're getting wailed on by like 4 fucking creeps there. And you got stunned. And then you got auto attacked by like the coddle too. So you took like a fair amount of damage. If this wyvern wasn't here right now, you would have lost so much HP. Like his heal is such a crutch for you this game. And it's probably gotten you like 20 creeps. No, maybe like 15. Yeah, I'd say like 15, 20 creeps. Because without that, like keep in mind how fast you went through your regen. Because you were just taking free coddle blasts and doing little things like that. That was the only real blunder I saw with like the creeps. But one thing I want to talk about is your skill build's totally fine right now. You do want to get stats. I looked at it on Dodwell. If you do the correct skill build for this game, except later on, I think right after you don't go back to stats after you get your manta, and then you start getting spell shield again. Even though you don't have a heart. You really only want to max spell shield when you're completing a heart. Until that point, the +2 strength is usually pretty comparable in terms of like the gains you're getting. And considering they have like his right click, pure damage from her, right clicks, her reflection's all physical. These two do a fair amount of magic damage. Who the fuck just had an orchid? What the hell did I just click? Alright, that's weird. Is she farming? She shouldn't be farming. Maybe she just doesn't give a shit about that sniper. Can't blame her. Home for a sniper. Back to you though. Yeah, so you get the stats now and you start leveling Blink at your... Did you miss a level of Blink? Did you not skill yet? I think you should have a level of Blink right now. Yeah, I think you got one too many in stats. Because you should I think you can only get 3 levels to have your Blink max by 11. And I've experimented with getting more levels of stats and then skipping like your level 11 mana void for a little bit, but I don't feel it's worth it. Like the level 11 mana void's really nice. It's a pretty significant damage increase, particularly if you have to fight early at all. See, like right now you're also low on HP. Don't tank the creeps when you don't have to. Jeez. Like you walked into that creep wave when your creep wave is there and then tanked it for no reason. Okay, that was good. If you blinked onto him, you probably would have set yourself up to die there too. Which is something you want to be careful about. Like you don't want to play too aggressive. Now there's a certain level of aggression you'll eventually have to be comfortable with, but like when in doubt, just play safer. There's no harm in playing safe. Like, when you look at this, just know like once you get your Vlads, the way Spectre's play, if she rushes like a Radiance after this or something, she's still incredibly weak, right? Because Radiance is an offensive and farming item, it's not a defensive item. So she's still going to be sitting at like no HP, so you can just go wherever the Spectre is with your Vlads and then just jump on her and right click her. Okay, that was silly. You're too low here. If they Dragon Tail you, see a mana for it? Use a Soul Ring and mana for it. So he doesn't even stun you. He just right clicks you, gets a headshot. Okay, we're gonna look at that one more time and we're gonna actually slow it down. Like, he hits really hard. And he kind of like screwed up a little bit there, but like you shouldn't have walked up. So one thing, if like the lane's like really contested like this, like walking to a sniper who's not under level, that sniper is he's like level 9, which isn't anything to really scoff at, right? That's still kind of scary, you know, it killed you. Like, let's look at this situation. So here we tank the whole creep wave. Is this where you died too? I think this is. Okay, yeah, so you tanked the creep wave here, so you lost like 100 HP, maybe? Hold on, let's see the exact amount you lost. When you walk up to that, you jungle this camp. You walk over to here. You have almost 600. So you get 590. You would have like 600 if you didn't tank this. This drops you. The creep wave alone is dropping you to under 500. Start taking the shrapnel. So we'll say you lost probably about 100 HP from that. Watch what happens here. That's one right click that did you in there. What's his damage? 68. You got a poor man shield, which is a 20 block. Even if you got a headshot, I think you live there. Even if that hit was a headshot, just 40, you would have lived. If you didn't tank that creep wave, you would have lived there. But like if you're low HP like that, if you're like 400 HP or whatever, and they're in a lane like this, like you could just say, okay, Wyvern, soak the experience. You know, let your Wyvern get levels. Let someone else come get levels. Maybe the Sven or the Sand King or whoever. Well, he died. But you gotta tell him, like, you just soak experience. His job isn't to get last, it's to soak experience. Because they will fuck him up even worse than they fucked you up. But, so in this case, like, dude, your whole jungle's available, right? Just go farm out the whole woods. Like, it's not the most efficient thing. In the terms, sorry, for you, it's not the most efficient thing in the world. Okay, you TP right back here. And you just start trading with two people.
Oh boy, Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
So this is good, and then right after this, you need to be blinking into the woods. What is she fucking doing? Why does she want your dick so bad? Am I crazy? This is a horrible skill build, by the way. You never get more than one level of dispersion earlier in Spectre. Always max one of these. I don't care which one, but you max one then the other. Getting more than one level of dispersion is garbage. Even if you're in trouble, it's garbage. So you wanna, like, this is where you wanna be pushing in the creep wave. So you had like 90 creeps, like 4 minutes ago, I wanna say. Which isn't great, but it's not bad. Like, at 1.6 MMR, like, I'd be impressed to see that. I don't think you personally should settle for it. You didn't tread swap here. I assume we're not going to see it again. Or we're not ever going to actually see it, but that's going to be an important thing when you play anti-mage and you start getting better and you start getting better at your farming patterns. Like, you're probably not going to notice it this game, even if you're not tread swapping. And the reason for that is because your farming patterns probably aren't going to be efficient enough. Once you start really using your blinks, like, all the time, once you start really using your blinks like on cooldown, you'll actually run out of mana if you don't tread swap. even with like all the levels and stats. It's like a very fine line you'll end up walking. So here, like, if they're still contesting the other lanes, like you have your Quap farming or the Brown thing is farming near this tower, and you have bunch of people up here, just keep farming the woods. You do not want to try and farm ancient. Oh, you have a battle fairy. Okay, you can farm this, but it'll cost you a lot of HP to do it. It's not wrong, but like, it costs you a fair amount of HP to farm the ancients there. So you should be just going for the Vlads right now. I'd probably get, that doesn't really matter too much at this point, because you're going to get the whole thing very quickly. Like, generally, once I have my Battle Fury, my Vladimir's comes about 2.5 minutes later. Because you should be farming, like, about 1,000 gold a minute. Like, right as the Battle Fury finishes, you can farm at that, right? Okay, you're going towards this when you have 500 HP. Know when, like, it's not your place to do this anymore. You don't know where that sniper is, man. This is mistakes. This was mistakes. I don't know if you were trusting on him to do something. All he could have done is, like, I guess his Q might result in that person dying. Yeah, this is not worth it. Like, I want to stress, okay, it's 19 minutes now, so you're actually pretty far behind. You were doing kind of okay, but, like, you started being really inefficient after, like, your first 10. So you hit a point on anti-mage where you just want to be maximizing your farm as much as possible, pretty much. And, like, you can show up to fights and, like, skirmishes, but, like, you should never, like, anticipate doing that. And what I mean by you shouldn't anticipate doing that is, like, my team's not going to say, okay, we're going to fight bottom, and then you TP bottom to go to a fight. That's not how you play anti-mage. You farm as aggressively as you can, and get as much creeps as you can the first 20-25 minutes. Basically until your Manta, and then once you have your Manta, you, like, judge how you want to approach things, and if you think you should be getting kills or whatever. Like, you judge the level of pressure you think you can apply, how you should be using everything. I rambled a bit there. But you want to be maximizing your farm. So you don't, like, TP somewhere preemptively to join a fight. If you're, like, near somewhere for a fight, then you go to it. Or if, like, it's a defensive fight, like, you should encourage your team, and in pub games, honestly, they don't listen fucking ever. It's miserable. But you should be encouraging your team to, take defensive fights. Because AM's ability to TP to a defensive fight and clean up is really high. So, like, let's say you had this tier 2 tower up, or even this tier 1 tower or something, and they're trying to take that tower, and they jump your team, and your team's sitting defensively, you can TP in after they blow all their initial nukes, even early on, like the 12-15 minute mark or something. You can look at that fight and say, oh hey, there's Alina who just blew her load on someone, I'll TP in, and I'll ult her, because she's near her team, and do tons of damage and help out my team. If they're fighting in the woods over here, and you're like, even if your tier 1's up, that's 2 blinks away. That's like legitimately, you TP in, takes 2 seconds to TP in, and then it takes like probably 8 seconds to get over to the fight. That's probably even a little generous. It takes you 8 seconds to get to a fight, and the fight's over. So, like, you don't want, you're an AM, you can't be there preemptively. If your team's not going to take defensive fights or fights close to your tower, you can't show up to them. And then, as long as you're being really efficient on the map besides that, it's usually not the end of the world. So, like, right now, I'd say you're actually pretty behind. Your Sand King and your Quap are doing okay. I'm assuming they're going to be the reason you start winning fights. Yeah, the Sand King's got Blink Epi, and she's got an Axe complete, so they're gonna have a pretty decent team fight without you. But, like, here's the thing, like, your farm needs to be absolutely exploding. Like, once I get my Battle Fury, I'll usually hit 10 creeps a minute, like, 2 minutes after that. If I don't even already have it, like, I'll have 10 creeps a minute before I have my Battle Fury sometimes, just because of how anti-mage farms. It's not hard to do. Just requires habits and good farming patterns. You have your Vlads now, you should complete that. So, I'll briefly talk about the Vlads too right now. It occurs to me, I, like, trailed off on when you got killed over here into this whole rant, and then didn't actually finish that. I am sorry, I've been sick for, like, so long now, and, like, sleep deprived, and it affects my ability to follow out trains of thought. But, what I was getting at is your goal should be to, like, farm as much as possible for, like, the first 25 minutes. and get as far ahead as you possibly can in those 25 minutes. Even like, I can even lower that to like 15 to 20 minutes. And you just go into absolute farm mode. Like, you hit as many creeps as humanly possible. And trying to man up on that Spectre, one, you went to it with half HP, and she had half HP, and you weren't that far ahead, you didn't have the Vlads yet, so you had that working against you. And Spectre hits fucking hard with her pure damage. Like, she hits harder than you. Like, this gives you plus 28 damage. Well, we're talking a little while ago, so you have a little less damage than that. But she hits pretty comparably. Man, I thought he was building a drums after that. That makes more sense. See, I'm not thinking right now. That's 65 pure damage, which goes through your spell shield. So she fucking hurts. I mean, you didn't know she had that max, because I think most Spectres usually max the Q over the W. But either way, it's like, why you start taking that, you're just trading regens. Like, Spectre really wants to contribute in kills. She doesn't care so much about farming efficiency, because she can't be efficient with her farm. But anti-mage needs to be efficient. So you trading there costs you HP, which means you can't farm. You can't farm aggressively, and you might be able to farm the woods, but you're still going to be losing HP in the woods. So it gets really awkward for you to do that, and you don't want to do that. Let me look at this fight and see how you took it too, because I think this might have been a problem too. It's like right now you should feel like you're pretty far behind. Like like this is a very low amount of creeps. Like I said, like, oh yeah, you got 50 at 10 was okay, and then I think you had like 90 at like 12 or 14 or something. 14 sounds like it's more correct for that. And then you just like stalled, and you like never really like improved your rate of farm. It remained constant, and like you hit these timings on anti-mage where your farm should be increasing exponentially. Like let me try and add a screen capture and like show you something real quick. This doesn't want to work. What's going on here? Hang on a second. I say that like you have any other choice, right? Whole window. Desktop? Man, I hope this works. No. I'm sorry, I'm doing this on my laptop, and I had everything set up on my desktop, but the desktop's in a different state, so not really an option. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, cool. So I want to show you what like a typical graph on my anti-mage looks like, because I think it's important to see like how it explodes. That worked the way I hoped it would. Not this game. That game is a joke. That's probably an okay one to look at. And sure, whatever. Doesn't really matter. We're just gonna look at a farm graph. But look, this isn't that good. That's 71 at 10 minutes, and at 20, I've increased it by 100. And at 30, actually, this is pretty bad on my part. I usually farm way more than this. What was this game? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a shitty game to look at. This is like one of my friends fucking freaking out. Did I just click the same game twice? I don't think so, right? Okay, no, this is a different game. Alright, so look at this. You go at 10 minutes, 41. I don't remember what my lane was here. I'll check it out later. Bottom safe. Off. Okay, it was aggressive tri-line. It was this retarded aggressive tri-line. So I get 40 creeps at 10 minutes. At 20 minutes, I put together 100 creeps. In that time, I got a Battle Fury at a really late Battle Fury. It's a 20-minute Battle Fury. I finished my Battle Fury, and I'm already able to get 10 creeps a minute without the Battle Fury from like 10 to 20. I'm already getting 10 creeps a minute. And then 2 minutes later, I put down another 40 creeps. 2 minutes later, another 40 creeps. That's like 44 creeps. Something happened here where I wasn't creeping a lot. 32 here. That's still 25 creeps in 2 minutes. 32. 20. I probably died because there was a fight or something. Another 40. But like you should be able to do 20 creeps a minute on an anti-mage. Like you see the exponential growth, like particularly after the Battle Fury. Like I'm able to get 10 before that, and then I hit like this super light Battle Fury timing, and then all of a sudden I'm doing 40 creeps a minute. And that's just me going into farm mode. But you never hit that point. And like you don't even need the Battle Fury to start getting like 10 creeps a minute, as we see here. I don't have a Battle Fury until 20 minutes, right? Because we can look at this graph here. I don't have a Battle Fury until 20 on the dot. And at 20 I'm still 100 right here. And that's just jumping between the camps, not wasting time in lanes where I can't farm. And what I was getting at with that, I want to change how this is capturing again. I guess I could leave it on that. That's probably fine to do. Oh, I know why I don't use that, because it'll show messages, right? Yeah. I usually try and avoid doing that, because people message me during this shit. But like, you never hit that point of farm exploding. So you have people sitting like 3 in here. So this is good. Worth showing up here. You mana void a melee creep. Okay, that's not good. You probably, if you saw the Lina blow her load, you probably just want to ult her. Even if she's dead already. Like, it's worth, if you see the Lina blow her load on someone. Okay, yeah, she had no mana left. If you voided her to kill her, if you void her to kill her, you also do a ton of damage to the Dragon Knight. And that Dragon Knight would have died a lot quicker, which helps your team. You miss the void, and that's a problem. Here you just fucking, you book it at this point. You leave. You go back to farm. You have a Vlad, so having low HP is not a problem. You just blink back to farming. So I'd go to the medium camp, to their hard camp, to the Ancients. Because you know there's 4 people up here and 1 in middle, so that's what you gotta do now. But yeah, you missing the mana void there hurt your team a lot. I know this game ends up being like kind of a blowout and it's even until 25 minutes, but like this is you dropping the ball a lot at this point. Because this is where you, like I said, this is where you need to be like exploding, right? And if you're not exploding in your farm, then like all the space your team creates is just doing nothing. Cool. Back to the lane. What are we doing? Wasting time here. So there's like a lot of wasted time. Like if you look at a game of like a decent anti-mage or something, you'll see like they don't waste time. One, you always prioritize lane creeps over jungle creeps, because not only are, that guy was criminally out of position. Not only are lane creeps worth more than jungle creeps on average, but you always want to have the lane push. Like at this point in the game, the reason I said 15 to 25 minutes is where you want to like explode your farm, is because after that you need to focus on other things. Like pushing a lane. So you should prioritize getting a lane pushed and like applying pressure on this tower. Like maybe I'll push in like 15 to 20 minutes or something, maybe I'll push a lane to the tower and then blink back to the jungle. While after that point, I'll focus on attacking the tower until I get someone to respawn. But you can do that earlier too. Like if the enemy's pushing, then you attack a tower. And you make them either choose to like jump the gun on what they're doing. Like they either need to jump your team who's sitting behind a tower before they're ready, before they get a good initiation. You can Rosh right now too. Once you have the Vlads, you can Rosh. You do skill this a little early too. Generally, you want to have this max by, as a rule of thumb, you want to have your blink max by when you have the Battle Fury or level 11. Either one's fine, it depends on the game. Usually I just do it by level 11 because having your blink max is really nice. You want to have this max by the time you have your full Manta style. And you have it now, but you probably could have pushed it off for like a level. Not the end of the world, but whatever. Like I probably wouldn't have started skilling it until like 15 or 17. That guy gets blown up. Because like, you level really quickly when you're power farming. Like you get a lot of experience from pushing out all those creep waves. So like right now, you miss probably at least 3 creeps in that wave. Okay, you're giving it to Sand King, which is fine. That's fine too. Like that's one thing you'll want to do. Like anti-mage has the benefit of being able to farm in like really aggressive positions. So you should farm this and then jump to the side camps. Alright, cool. You have the benefit of being able to farm pretty aggressively and like getting away with it. It gives you kind of a larger margin of error because you do have that 5-second blink. Here you just man up on her. She is comparatively very weak to you. Like, she has a Vanguard and a Diffusal, and she's still a non-entity. See like how well you're trading with her? That's why, like, I'll counter Spectres with an anti-mage, because assuming, like, even if things aren't equal, even if you're behind, you're just able to man up on her so much earlier. If she's getting the items she's supposed to, even with that Vanguard, it's still something she's gonna have trouble with. You need to have a TP now too, by the way. That's a huge part of AM split push, is having a TP and being able to TP to engagements. Like this Lina, pretty sure she's been sitting there low mana for a while. Yeah, yeah. This is casual kills right here. This is effortless you killing her for a while here. We could probably go back like a minute. I'm assuming she's been low for a while. Still low. Like once you have the Manta, you destroy people. I know you're killing her now, and like you're still doing stuff, but that thing should have left. This lane is just trashing it to him. But like, I just want to put out there, that's so casual. You just TV back there, you ult that, you get 2 kills, and then you push this all the way to here. It's so easy to do. But you have to watch for stuff like that. So here's another thing: you're skilling your mana, your spell shield right now, and you don't need to. You don't have a heart. You have such a low HP pool. You just want stats, honestly. Stats increases your farm, increases the damage you do, which are kind of the same thing. And I know you don't get a heart this game. I could see the argument for and against it. You need a heart against Alina with an Ags, but if she doesn't have an Ags, then you don't need it. She does have an Ags, so you do need it. Like, she ults you, and how much? Like 60% of your health is gone. you need something that's gonna give you HP there. The Abyss is gonna give you 10, but that's still kind of low. I like how in between that you just jump back over here. That's good. If you want to use that time correctly, even at this point in the game. So you're approaching like 10 creeps a minute right now, but you could have had that, I want to stress, like 15 minutes ago. And like the creep numbers isn't what's important, it's like having an impact, and like just having really high farm gets you to the point where you can have a big impact early. This is a lot of your team just like carrying you up to this point. And like you'll have a lot of games where like shit like that'll make the difference. Like your ability to get to the point where you can help early. Like the games I lose on anti-mage are when they high ground me before I have a Manta on someone who pushes towers really quickly. And like the Leshrac era was actually a pain in the ass for me. I preferred like the snipers who I could jump on top of in 6.83 to the Leshracs who would just snowball off my team. Good God, like your lanes are way too pushed considering you have an anti-mage, right? Like that's all the way over to here. They don't have any real good split push. But anyway, onto my borderline. Man, I don't know what he is doing. You can Manta off that blind too. Oh, so the biggest problem I have is like Leshracs who would build up like 20 Bloodstone charges off my team and then high ground me at like 20 minutes, like right before I have a Manta style. I usually have a Manta at like, in a good game, I'll have it at like 20 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. 20 to 22 minutes. I can usually have Battle Fury, Vlad's Manta. It's poked in the head. Also gets poked in the head. Yeah, so like 22 minutes I'll have that, but when I'm getting high grounded at that point, and it's someone like a Leshrac who, using his Edict, doesn't blow his whole mana pool. Like a Storm, a Quap, and like a Lina blow through their whole mana pools very, very quick and give you a target you can mana void. But like someone like a Leshrac didn't, and I guess a Pugna would do that too. And like a DK, if they're doing well, could high ground you, and then you don't really have a great mana void target on the DK, but maybe there's someone else you will have it on. But yeah, that's where you're going to have problems as an AM. Like, if you can get to this point where you have your Manta, like, you probably won the game. Getting to your Manta reliably and fast is what's really important. And, like, everything's about getting to that point of you being unstoppable. And I shouldn't say unstoppable, because anti-mage isn't the hardest carry. He just hits he's supposed to hit his peak much, much faster than every other carry. Apart from an Alchemist. Who he'll hit like 8 minutes after the Alchemist and carry a little harder. Yeah, I would say a bit harder. God, I'm fucking rambling again. I'm so sorry. Usually these videos are a little better, I think.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Let's talk about random things. You should just back up from here.
Holy shit!
Just kidding. Right, you're fed a shit right now. You have the butterfly. What am I saying? Yeah, so you're able to kill that sniper because he's a glass cannon. You just got a deso. The things that annoy me is when I have like snipers who build shadow blades, because I can get on top of them, but an anti-mage doesn't really have room for detection. So they just go invisible and run away, like he did. You can't do anything about it. He BKB'd and went invisible. It's a little overkill. Probably wasn't worth the BKB charge on his part, considering going invisible has the same effect, because he literally can't hit you.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's just attacking through backdoor protection right now. But anyway, let's this game's clearly just gonna end soon. But I want to go over a few things that I know I forgot to discuss, and I think it's pretty important. One, think about your skill builds and stuff, and think about your itemization. I think you got the Basher first, and Basher's fine. I usually my justification for getting a Basher after my Manta, or getting Basher / Abyssal, is there's someone I want to jump on and kill. Or who's split farming, who I want to jump and kill. I want to be able to get pickoffs, like solo pickoffs, very easily and fast. And like having a B-fly can kind of let you do that, but it doesn't give you control on people. And jumping someone with an Abyssal will kill like pretty much any fucking hero, honestly. There's very, very few people who can survive a well-timed anti-mage with an Abyssal and a Manta style. Because you absolutely shred people. And usually you'll get like 3 seconds of just free attacking on them, which drains like 1,000 mana, and then you just ult them and they're dead. That's true on pretty much every hero on their team. Yeah, no one on their team can actually survive that Abyssal combo. If they have someone like a fed Lina, but she's kind of fed. I mean, the Ags is what you need to be scared of. And like, if you can look at a thing and say, okay, me just being able to survive will let us end this game, then you can just get a heart too. This game definitely does require a heart because of Alina. At some point, if it got like problematic down the line, it would require a heart. And on the topic of heart, I believe I talked about you max your blink around when you have a Battle Fury or level 11. Whatever you prefer, whatever seems right in the game. It's more what seems right in the game, not what you prefer. It's not like, I just like this, or I like that. It's like, it's a rationed out reason why you feel that way. Which is usually game dependent. You may get your mana break maxed out when your Manta style is completing, and you get stats besides that. Like, I had games where, like, I'd get stats until, like, level, 19. That's right, isn't it? It's like 1/1/1, max blink, stats. Just skilling my ult, because usually that means I'm far behind. My Manta was just so far off, for whatever reason. Maybe I'm a 1v3 against an aggro try. That's one of the times where that happens. They're really, really strong aggro try. But yeah, like, it's totally fine. You just keep leveling stats until you get to the points where the other things become valuable, or you don't have a choice anymore. Like Spell Shield, obviously you can't get stats when you're level 25, so you level the Spell Shield. But when you have your heart, that's when you want that max, because the effective HP that you're getting from the Spell Shield increases dramatically when you have like an extra 1,000 HP for it to take effect into. Before that, like, the stats versus each level, which is only like an 8% increase in the, it doesn't actually equate to 8, it's like, it's like 6 per level, because it's reduced by like the 25% base. Magic resistance stacks diminishingly. It's like, well, this is 50 and your base is 25, you'll get 25% of that 50. Sorry, 75% of that 50 added to your 25, which is 12.5 each, just 37.5 plus 25 is 62.5 is your magic resistance, is what you get. So you get the, like, really 6% more resist per level when you're scaling it past that. So you're comparing the 6% more spell resist versus raw HP and armor, which give you more survivability against magic spells and gives you more survivability against physical damage and obviously pure damage too, just because you have more raw HP. When there's like spell damage too, obviously there's some acceptance where leveling it early would be good. So that's just like a little thing. Like you always want to think out like what you're doing, and the way you skilled didn't seem well reasoned to me. I just seemed kind of like you're like, oh, okay, I got my manta. I got to level 11. Let's just skill mana break now. I got my 3 levels of stats, or I think you might have gotten like 4 levels of stats. I think it's 5. You got 4 or 5 levels of stats. I know you got to level 11 and had 2 points in blink, so that means you had 2 extra levels in stats at that point. And then I'm assuming after the blink max, you just started maxing the Q, even though you're. Yeah, I think your manta was around the same time. But it's not bad to have it after, just because the more points and stats let you farm quicker too and stuff. But yeah, you just want to make sure you have that well reasoned out. On to more pressing things. So for the laning phase, you really want to be... Okay, I need this to allow me to free camera. So this is probably the most useful part of the video. I do apologize for all the seemingly random things I talked about. Head's just not in the game, so I do apologize for that. I still think it'll be pretty useful for you. So, like, a big thing is, like, if your Wyvern wasn't there, you would have taken so much harass damage from that Coddle just hitting you with every blast. And, like, most of it, until he was standing over here and you couldn't really predict it, was just, like, you not paying attention. Like, if I'm creeping here, you can have this viewpoint right here. It's totally fine. Like, you don't need to see this part of your jungle if the creeper is right here at, like, the 3-minute mark. Like, you can look at stuff like this and see the position of the Coddle. But you had it so you were like this, and the Coddle's sitting right here. So you were just having him off your screen when you didn't need to, and then missing him just blasting you every time. So you took a ton of harass from that, which is, like, really, really bad. Like I said, if you didn't have that Wyvern there to heal you, there was that one time you were running back to base when you shouldn't have. Second thing. You tried manning up on people in creep waves, and you like lost HP for no reason. Like, you need to assess the situation, decide like, can I creep here? What's the cost for creeping here? Is it worth doing it? Like, let's say there's just a Dragonite here. You have like your Ring of Health and like your Poor Man's Shield and your Treads. Like, I'll walk up to a creepy with a Dragonite and I'll just last hit and pretend he doesn't exist. Like, I don't care. If he walks up to the creepy, I'll harass him and I'll drain his mana just to piss him off. But he has the Soul Ring, so it might even be worth just not even bothering him, because you don't want him to use an ability on you for no reason. Like if you're mana breaking someone, they'll usually just blow an ability on you to make your damage do less. So it might not even be worth it. You might just be worth it just to straight up pretend he doesn't exist, right? But you didn't have full HP. You had like I think like 500 or 600. I think you were at 590 HP. You walked up to this creep wave, tanked all the damage from the creep wave. That's another thing. If your creep wave's here, and their creep wave's here, don't run your body into their creep wave, take all their aggro and all their damage for your creep wave. You don't care about your creep's HP. You're not that altruistic. Screw them. Let your creeps take the damage while you regen. Even if only if I'm like full HP and I want my creep wave to push, will I actually tank tower or creep damage purposely. You should not tank creep damage, particularly early on when you want to be abusing the jungle. You should not be tanking that stuff. It's about to end. You should not be like tanking those types of damage when you need to go into the jungle, because these camps will cost you HP to kill. This one probably not, but like this one, if you get those red dudes, this one costs you HP, a lot of HP to kill. This one's not too bad, because you kill them all quickly because they all have mana. That one hurts a little bit. I can't remember the name of the camp. Whatever. It's the one with the red thing, the red and the yellow thing. Hellbear Smasher, there we go. The Hellbear Smasher fucking hurts. That camp hurts a lot. And if you accidentally stack a camp one time or something, going through that costs you a lot of HP. So you don't want to waste your HP tanking enemy creeps when you need to be tanking neutral creeps as you're jungling them. Which is like a huge problem. And you doing that got you killed. Because like, remember I said like if there's just a DK, you can walk up and pretend the Dragonite finished the Radiance though. Okay, let's go. We're gonna go back a little bit. So as I said, you can like if there's just a DK, his things aren't gonna hurt you, right? You have this. Oh, it tickles. The stun. Oh, he's gonna get like 2 more auto attacks off on me. Like who? It's like at the end of the day, it's like I have a ring of health. Like I don't care, right? So if you don't care, then you just tank the damage. If he wants to blow all of his mana on you, then that affects his ability to contribute in other places. So you don't care. You just pretend he doesn't exist, farm the creep wave, and then jump to the woods. And it's very easy to do. But then when you see someone like the DK and the sniper there, and you're at half HP, if you walk up and get stunned and nuked by the DK, and he auto attacks you like once or twice or whatever he decides to do, and the sniper's poking you in the head, and the sniper has ult, you're gonna die like you did. Which was still very close. Like honestly, the sniper screwed up and could have gotten like 2, maybe 3 more auto attacks off. And if you didn't tank the creep wave, remember you would have lived there because you had 20, I think he had like 7 HP when you got out over here, and he got you with one last auto attack. He was standing here, his last auto attack hits you here. That's about his max range. I mean, you didn't have to go much farther to live there. And if you had that 100 HP, you would have lived. 100%. Like, even with a headshot proc, he wouldn't have killed you. But, like, more importantly to that, even just talking about, like, oh, don't let the creeps damage you. If you see a lane where you're like, well, the cost for getting creeps... Like, you can't walk up and there's a sniper there and a DK and tank all their damage. Like, the DK is fine. If there's a sniper, you can probably even ignore him. But the two of them combined will do a ton of damage to you. So, in those situations, you just go to the jungle. Like, you don't need a Battle Fury to jungle. Treads, Ring of Health, is more than enough to jungle. So then you just start jungling. Like if I ever have a lane that's like contested, I just start jungling. Like I don't care. All I need is the Ring of Health to sustain my mana, or sorry, my health. And then the treads make me do it quickly. Like you saw in the replay or that graph I showed you earlier, I was getting 10 creeps a minute without a Battle Fury, and I was just farming the jungle as much as I could. And that's what pretty much like all my games look like. Like I don't often have free lanes because I play with a bunch of assholes who always do aggressive dual lanes and other dumb shit. So I usually end up in like 1v2s, 1v3s, or like 1v1s. Occasionally like a 2v2. That's fun. But like I don't usually get free lanes, and like being able to abuse the jungle and knowing when you can and can't be in lane is like really important. Because you lost a lot of time like sitting here and like not doing anything when you could have cleared out 5 camps and you're just sitting here. Maybe you cleared out 1 camp and then just ignored the rest of them. And like no one else on your team was using these camps. You could have very easily went into. I think I saw one time and I was like, he should farm the jungle, and the Quap was killing this camp. That was it, and she like walked away. I think she only did it because she was like low HP, walked over here, killed the camp, and then went back. And I'm pretty sure that's the only reason she had done that. God, I hate being sick. It's miserable. Yeah, so that's like really, really important things. Because like I said, I think you got to the 10-minute point in a respectable position. You could have gone there with more. If you didn't have the Wyvern, you definitely would have got there with less. So I think you need to work on those things we talked about. Like not taking needless creep damage, avoiding someone like Coddle nuking you constantly. You need to avoid things like that. Because if you didn't have a healing support in your lane, it would have hurt you so much more. And then just knowing when to go into lane and when not to will get you more farm too, and then when to show up to fights. Like trading with that Spectre was like a poor mistake. I wouldn't have done that in that game because I see myself at like 60% HP. Even if I can think about the opportunity cost, like if you killed that Spectre, maybe you get like 300-400 gold or something. That's equivalent to killing this camp and like that camp. Look at you like 400 gold. And yeah, it puts the Spectre behind a little bit, but in the time it takes you to kill her, blink back to base, blink over to here again, that's like a minute that's gone by probably. Because like it takes time to heal, right? So it takes you a minute to kill her, go back to base, come here. And in that time, you could have farmed out this whole thing, pushed probably 2 creep waves, and farmed out that. And that's like probably 1,000 gold. If you farmed out all of this, all of that, I think there's people here, so maybe you couldn't have farmed all of that. But even these 2 camps were equivalent to killing her, right? So if there's people top, then you blink here, blink here. If you can kill this camp, you blink here, blink over to here, blink to this camp, go into their woods, and then start pushing this line. Like, it's very simple. You just go to the path of least resistance when you're farming. The path of least resistance in most farm, right? As we said, a DK standing here, it's not really much resistance, so you just farm it. And then you want to prioritize lane creeps. That is fucking hysterical. I really hope this Lena wins. Come on, Lena. Yes! We're watching that again. She heals herself? Oh my god. No, she doesn't. That's a cloud heals. Oh, we gotta get the player perspective on this. Does he see it? Maybe you couldn't see up the hill and then just like was retarded. Yules her for no perceivable reason. See, if she saved that Yules, you can actually dodge Laguna Blade because there's a delay on it. Okay, so that's not as bad as it looked. Okay, so what happened is they both silence each other, I think, right? Okay, we both have Orchid. They both silence each other. She turns back and autos her, but she already figures the lane is still running away. And like over blinks. Even though she was getting autoed, she might have just had it pre-clicked already. And it was too late to change. Okay, he acknowledges that he fucked up. That's fucking great. We're gonna watch one more time. I was really entertained by it. Her build was fucking stupid too. She got an Orchid first against a Spectre. And that thing. And probably that thing. And that thing. And that thing. She got an Orchid first. We'll just leave it at that. Brought the fucking heat. Alright. Anyway, back to you. That was great. I'm really happy we saw that. That made me that tickled me. That tickled me good and proper. Yeah, so just to summarize again, because once again I find myself rambling and laughing at random people's expenses. Knowing when you could farm your lane, dodging unnecessary damage, such as creep waves or coddle blasts or whatever other harass could be in your lane, since there's tons of shit. Knowing when to walk up to a wave and when you could take a fight, like this DK and Sniper, you did not want to take that, because even like getting creeps there or harassing one of them would have cost you like 300 HP. And in your case, it resulted in your death. Trading with this Spectre, that cost you tons of mana again. And I think you have one more death at the end, but those were your only 2 deaths. Like, imagine if you didn't do those things and you were farming efficiently, you would have easily hit like 220 creeps or something at like 20 minutes. Wouldn't have been hard. Instead, like, we're at this point and you still haven't hit 10. Okay, I'll probably like end it here. I do apologize. If you want to send me another thing, I'll try and watch it like a little later. I'll include this in a message to you too. Because I think this wasn't as good as it should have been, and I don't think I looked at as much things during the laning phase, but I think you did make some mistakes, and I thought I'd point out some of the good ones. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, want to send me some more replays, feel free to throw them forward, and I will end it now. Actually, yeah, we'll end it, yeah. I was going to do something else, but it's better if I just do it in a second video.